Hour. You already know. It's live, it's raw, it's going down. Like this. I'm going around and letting everybody know that they welcome to the show. It's the latest thing you ever seen, you already know. Let me introduce you to your host of the hour. Hit me Mike and Mike. Yeah, it's the man hour. Got the hottest plays, all the breaking news. Every rumor, every trade, every breaking bruise. Tighten up the screws. Yeah, it's going down. Have you saying what the fuck and never watered down. It's going down. I'll be rolling up. And if you buy it or you sell it, then you made the cut. Watch me flip it back. I can double up. I got sriracha for that ass, I'ma burn it up. Gotta check the rules, but know that it be fair and foul. Rep throw the whistle, coach throw the towel. We can do this on the field, on side of the lines. It's the man hour though, now we going live.
And what is up, everybody? Michael Buckhatcher here with the Mike and Mike Man Hour live, raw, and uncut sports talk. Coming on you the Thursday edition. We got football tonight. We have some more COVID talk, and we also got fantasy football. But first, let me welcome the man, the myth, the legend to the show, Coach Tip himself.
What's up?
Going on today?
What's up? What's up, man? I'm just riding around with the top down today, brother.
Hey,
just riding around with the top down.
Sometimes you just gotta live life, you know.
That's it.
Throw out $100 bills out the windows.
Yeah, no, I won't be doing that, but I'll be riding around with the top down, enjoying life with those hundreds and with those Benjis in my pocket. Yeah.
Right. Well, hopefully, I still have hundreds in my pocket after my wife gets done shopping today. But
good luck on that one. Yeah, good luck on that one.
We have the old, we have the family pictures later tonight, so she out getting new outfits and her hair done and I was like, man.
We got an anniversary coming up Saturday, so the wife went out the other day and bought a couple of outfits. So
yeah,
I know that. I know that's I know that deal.
Happy anniversary! So
I appreciate that, man. Thank you, man.
Mrs. Tip and Mr. Tip.
I appreciate that. I don't think she's not here and can't hear you, but I'll certainly let her know that. Thank you.
You guys, definitely welcome to the Man Hour, guys. If you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, you definitely should. If I get the microphone, there you go. I miss having my microphone stand because
I was gonna say, is that me that's low or is that you that's low?
That was me. That was low. I mean, I was
okay
like this, and I should have been talking like this. But
there you go. There you go.
Like, yeah. It just I miss my home studio. Like I miss being able just to tinker with stuff, and just I feel naked right now.
Yeah.
So,
well, we're glad that you're not. Just
I mean, you only see my top up, so you don't really know what is going on.
That's all we need to see, brother. That's all we need to see, bro. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
On the bright side, I do got shoes on, so that's the only thing that matters.
Well,
hey, you're never officially naked.
Well, you can at least get served in a restaurant with shoes on. So
yeah, I mean, I got hoodie and shoes.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, that's it.
So
it says shirt and shoes. It don't say nothing about underwear or nothing.
Yeah,
so
no shoes, no shoot, no shirt.
Oh, and mask. Masks, shirt, and shoes.
And as the show gets derailed before we even get started with the whole mask situation. So, funny story. I work for a company that's been, pretty adamant about the whole mask situation, right? Like you have to wear a mask whenever you come in and out of the door, whatever. So if I leave my desk, I got to wear a mask, etc. My question is like, if I'm the only one in here, do I really have to wear a mask?
That's like driving down the road and we're seeing somebody driving with their mask on. Yeah. You really don't have to ask about that person. You kind of already know. That's just my take.
Yeah,
the governor, I can't even think of his name, in California has now, no, is it California? Yeah. Now he's issued a thing, or he's getting ready to where he wants to, when you wear your mask in the restaurant, you pull it down or up to take a bite, and then you put it back over your mouth. So
whatever.
I think, yeah, exactly.
I am over it. I am past that point. But guys, we do have a little show lined up for you here. We have Matt McPeak coming on from Kicking and Sticking Fantasy Football. Talk a little bit of fantasy football on tonight's matchups here. And then after that first break, we're going to have me and Tip are going to break it down, the Bucs versus the Bears, and who is going to win tonight's game. So, guys, let's head over to take our first break of the day. Get Matt McPeak lined up, and guys, Mike and Mike Man Hour. We'll be right back right after this break with Matt McPeak from Kicking and Sticking Fantasy Football.
Yes, sir.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckcaster here with the special guest, Matt McPeak from Kicking or Sticking Fantasy Podcast, our fantasy guru here on the All Access Sports Network. Matt, how's your day going today?
It's going good, man. How about you? Thanks for having me on.
Man, it is another beautiful day, another day of football, and just couldn't be much more happier. So it is Thursday, and we do have the Thursday night game. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears here on Thursday night football. I mean, obviously, fantasy expectations are what we want to talk about here. So, who is a player that you must start in this game?
Well, since the news came down yesterday that Chris Godwin has already been ruled out, I think Mike Evans is a definite must start. Leonard Fournette is also out, so Ronald Jones is a must start, and it now brings Keyshawn Vaughn into relevance. LaShawn McCoy is also out, so it's literally just going to be Ronald Jones and Keyshawn Vaughn. Ronald Jones had 20 carries for 111 yards last week. He also caught 6 balls, only gave us 17 receiving yards, but 6 catches is 6 catches. Keyshawn Vaughn had 3 carries for only 4 yards, but he caught both of his targets and had a touchdown. So at the end of the fourth quarter, it was Keyshawn Vaughn who was on the field with Tom Brady in that hurry-up offense, and Keyshawn Vaughn got the red zone target, which is one of the most valuable touches in football. So I think Ronald Jones is a must start, and Keyshawn Vaughn is if you're really hurting, you can use him as a flex. The Bears have held the Colts running backs to only 3 yards per carry last week, but I'm still going to start Ronald Jones, and I might take Keyshawn Vaughn as a DFS play. Scotty Miller is another tough decision. He was a massive letdown in week 2 when Godwin missed, and Miller only had 2 catches for 11 yards in that game, but he's averaged just under 11 full PPR fantasy points in his other 3 games this year. Last week, he got his first touchdown of the season. So I think as Brady and Miller's chemistry continues to grow, Miller will get better and better. I have Miller in 2 leagues that I also have Godwin, and I'm starting Miller in both of those leagues. So he's another guy that just simply because of how many guys are hurt in this game. The Bears have allowed the 4th fewest fantasy points to wide receivers and the 2nd fewest to quarterbacks so far this year. They're the only team that has not allowed an opposing wide receiver to score a touchdown so far this year. So that's pretty significant. Keep that in mind when you are contemplating leaving these Buck wide receivers in your lineups. Tight end is super interesting for the Buccaneers. You got Gronk and Cameron Brate in much better positions now than they were in the beginning of the year. O.J. Howard ruptured his Achilles in week 4, and he's going to be out for the rest of the year. So and he was leading that group of Buccaneer tight ends in targets, catches, and touchdowns. But now it's all Gronk and Cam Brate, who caught a touchdown last week. Cam Brate has always been a monster in the red zone. I know there were a whole lot of frustrated fantasy owners last week that cut Gronkowski. So if you're someone that doesn't have one of those top 3 to 5 tight ends, and you see Gronk is available on your waiver wire, I would go out and grab him right away. The only touchdowns that the Bears have allowed through the air this year have all gone to tight ends. So if there's a week to take your chances on a Bucs tight end, it's definitely this week. For the Bears, you got David Montgomery, had one of his worst rushing games of his career last week, although he did see his career high in targets with 6. So I'm going to assume that continues, him seeing those targets. Hopefully he's good for a good 4 to 6 targets a week now that Tariq Cohen is out for the year. I'm not playing him against this Bucs run defense that has been really good over the past year and a half now, especially if he's only going to get 10 carries a game. Excuse me. The Bucs are one of only 3 teams so far to allow less than 200 yards rushing through 4 games. So this Buccaneers run defense is legit, really good. Allen Robinson is the must start for the Bears. Robinson has 41 targets through 4 games now. He is their top dog. Anthony Miller last week, I thought we'd see a few more targets go to Anthony Miller because of how much Nick Foles likes to throw the ball to his slot receivers. But Miller only saw 5 targets, same as he did in 3. I'd love to see him get somewhere between 7 and 8, but weeks 2 and 4, he's either got the same amount of targets as Jimmy Graham or less than Daryl Mooney, who I don't even know who that is. So I can't start Anthony Miller. I can't start anybody getting less targets than Jimmy Graham. And then as far as the gambling side of this game, if I had to pick a side, I guess I would go with the Buccaneers. They opened up at -5.5, and now they're only at -3.5. So some money has been coming in on the Bears. The Bucs have won their last 3 games by at least 7 points. I think I'd lean towards the under 44.5 as well. Although I did get burned by the Buccaneers last week. I had them as my under against the Chargers, and that did not work out very well for me. But I think the Bears can keep the Bucs to 24 points or less, and I don't see the Bears scoring more than 17. So there you go. There's your under. And the props that I like for this game, I already have $20 on Allen Robinson over 6.5 receptions. He's had 17 catches over the last 2 games. I think the Bears are really going to struggle to run the ball. So I think this is a Allen Robinson heavy game. I think he'll easily see double-digit targets like he has in the past 2 games. I think I'll also be taking a look at that Ronald Jones over 21.5 receiving yards. He saw 9 targets last week. Leonard Fournette is out for this game, like I said. If I'm going to take a touchdown scorer for this game, I think it would be one of the Buccaneers tight ends or Allen Robinson. That's going to do it for the Thursday night preview.
Yeah, those are all great picks. So I have a dilemma on my side of the things here. In a league, I have Nick Foles and I have Tom Brady as both of my quarterbacks. Who should I start?
I would probably go with Tom Brady, as much as I hate to say it as a jaded Jets fan. But I think he has more weapons. I think he threw 5 touchdown passes last week.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Foles is great. He's fun to root for, and he's a good story and all that. But I just don't really have all that much confidence in this Buccaneer in the Bears offense right now. I think he'd be better off with Tom Brady.
All right, and before we let you go, who wins tonight?
I think the Buccaneers win, man. Whether you want to take them straight up on the money line or minus the 3.5 points, I think they go to Chicago and they win. That Buccaneers run defense really is legit, man, and their pass defense keeps getting better and better every week. They got a whole bunch of young guys starting in the secondary. They got linebackers that can cover. And like I said, the Bears, I mean, besides Allen Robinson and maybe Jimmy Graham running a seam route here or there, there's really not too much to threaten you with the Bears. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers.
All right. And guys, that is going to be it for Matt McPeak. Matt, thanks for joining us. As always, we'll see you next Thursday. Tell people where they can find your show at.
So it's the Kickin' or Stickin' Fantasy Football Podcast. It's on the RTF Sports Network on Fridays at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Or you can get it even late Thursday night, early Friday morning on the HC Universal Network. It's on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, pretty much anywhere you can get podcasts. So check us out. We do. I take nine bets every week. It's 3 picks against the spread, 3 touchdown scores, a road dog of the week, and then 1 over, 1 under. So far on the season, I'm 24-12 with my podcast picks. And besides that, we take about 10, 15 minutes. We just run through every single game and highlight fantasy relevant players, kind of like this Thursday night game. So definitely check us out, and hopefully your fantasy teams will be better for it.
All right, Matt. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
All right, always. All right, guys. As promised, that was our little fantasy segment of the day. Join Matt here every day on the Mike and Mike, or every Thursday on the Mike and Mike Man Hour here, guys, and we'll get you a little bit of fantasy fix. We'll be right.
Alrighty, guys, and welcome back to the Man Hour. Obviously, that was pre-recorded with my man Mike McPeak from Kickin' or Stickin' Fantasy Football Podcast. He is with us every Thursday afternoon with the fantasy take of the Thursday night game. You guys can check him out on the All Access Sports Network. He is on Fridays at allaccessportsnetwork.com is where you can find him at. And since that recording, the money line or the point spread has actually dropped down now to 3 points. So it started out at 5 last night, 5.5 last night, 3.5 this morning, and now it's down to a 3-point spread. So, Tip, while we were in that segment here, there have been a few things to come across the stream here. Julio says pick 2. Boyd, Gurley, or Gordon for the most points for the weekend. Who would you pick?
Okay, you're going to have to refresh my memory here. I know Boyd. I know Cincinnati plays Baltimore. Baltimore's got a great secondary. So let's move on to Gurley. Who does Atlanta play this week?
Let me pull it up.
I'll pull up my schedule too.
Yeah, they play Carolina. And then
okay, that Gurley could probably be a play there, and then Denver plays. I just saw that a few minutes ago and I've lost track.
New England.
Is it New? Okay, I was going to say Pittsburgh.
If that game happens.
If that game even happens, first of all, I'd probably put Gurley first just because of who they're playing. Although Gurley is not. He's not the running back he was a couple of years ago, but he still scores touchdowns, which you just mentioned. Touchdowns are the thing, and then I don't know really between Boyd and Gordon, because Boyd plays a great secondary in Baltimore, so he could be shut down, and then Gordon has only had 1 out of 4 games that have been decent, and that was the other night against. Who was it against? Was it a Thursday night or a Monday night game? Or was it a Sunday night game when he went off against anyway, he's just not been stable. So I'm going to say Gurley, and I'll say Boyd, just for the simple fact that I think they have a better quarterback.
Yeah,
than Denver does.
I just pulled up my fantasy app on my phone. This is per Yahoo Fantasy is what we play on, and it has Melvin Gordon as doubtful for this week's game.
Well, like I said, go for I'm looking at that now myself.
Yeah, and Boyd and Gurley are both healthy, so kind of by default, I would pick Boyd and Gurley anyways. However, if Melvin Gordon does play, I don't think he will be successful against that New England front 7.
The Pats defense is really good.
Yeah, well, and the fact that the Broncos are still missing out their leading or their number 1 receiver, and they're down to their 3rd string quarterback as well. Yeah. So he is going to be used heavily in the running game. So I would pick Boyd and Gurley moving forward. So
and Gurley, that's exactly what I'd go with.
So with all that being said, you were in a keeper league. You were talking like a little bit of fantasy football before the show started, and you were in a dilemma as well. What were you in a dilemma of? It was picking up Kyle Allen, right? have you? I mean, you've been talking.
Yeah.
to him.
Well, first of all, I want to.
Are you picking up Kyle Allen?
Well, I'm going to pick Kyle Allen up now. First of all, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Kevin, who's out in Cali right now, who is the commissioner of our leagues, and he just actually posted something about starting Montgomery. There it is, right there. Hey, Kev, what's up, buddy? And I want to also give a shout out to him because this is the guy that's pretty much basically taught me everything I know about fantasy football, and I'm not even close to knowing even a small percentage of what he knows about fantasy football. Now, we go back and forth a lot, and I give him a lot of crap about things, but I got to be honest with you, man. When he says something, most of the time I listen to him, and it ends up working out. So I just want to say, hey, Kev, thanks for listening, and we'll be talking here soon, I'm sure, when the show is over. But that being said, he and I spoke about this last night, and the Kyle Allen thing. Now I'm gonna pick Kyle Allen. I'm gonna pick him up for the simple fact that he is going to be a starter. They've already said that Haskins is out.
Yeah.
I was going to pick Haskins up as another quarterback. Now we have a 2-quarterback league. Like I told you before, we have a different league. We don't pick defensive teams. We pick defensive players. So that being said, our rosters are bigger. We get more points per player. And so, like this past weekend, I had Dak Prescott gave me 70-plus points. He may have given 30-plus in a typical ESPN league or PPR or whatever. So it's a little bit of a different league. So right now, by the time every team picks up at least 3 quarterbacks, because you start 2 and you have to have 1 to back up for bye weeks or whatever. By the time you pick up 3 quarterbacks and you've got a 10-man league, there's 30 quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are almost gone. You don't really have much choice left, many choices left. So right now, with everybody scrambling because of the COVID situation, because of injuries, because of just teams not playing well, quarterbacks not playing well, whatever, there has been a major shuffle in the last couple of weeks of quarterbacks. And so in our league, we're all kind of scrambling to pick offensive players up and keep them and get our teams together and have backups for every position. And quarterbacks have become a premium. So now you've got quarterbacks on the board like Kyle Allen. You've got Joe Flacco and Mullins and a couple of other guys who, in all honesty, at the beginning of the season, they're not on the radar to be picked up on anyone's team. So I was going about picking up a quarterback, and when I heard that Haskins was available, I was going to pick him up. Well, it just so happened the guy before me picked him up in the waiver wire, and the next day, and Kevin was, he was telling me about this, that he didn't trust Haskins, and he had heard some rumors, and then the next day, what do you know? Haskins gets benched, and Kyle Allen comes up. So I was going to pick up Kyle Allen, which I already have, but I'm not sure whether I should start him or start, Fitzpatrick. You have to look at the matchups and everything like that. But if you're in that kind of league, backs, 1 or 2 quarterbacks. So now instead of having 3 on your roster, you may have 4 or 5 because now they become a premium on, in the NFL. And so I was questioning whether to drop Stidham and pick up Kyle Allen instead, because I think Stidham is going to start this week, but I believe Kyle Allen is going to be more of a long-term situation. So I'm not really sure whether I should drop Stidham and try to pick up Allen or start Allen in the other league that I do have him and bench Fitzpatrick. So these are questions that I have to, figure out. I'm sure Kevin will give me his insight and his input on it, and he already has it somewhat. But if you're in that type of quarterback league or that type of league and you have to pick up that many quarterbacks and you're scrambling, is Kyle Allen somebody that you want to pick up? Is he somebody you want to have on the bench? And if the only player you can get rid of for him to trade out is Stidham, do you drop Stidham? Because Stidham is going to play over Hoyer. And Cam is probably not going to play this week. I think they said he may be out one more week, but they're not quite sure yet. I know he was maybe asymptomatic or something, could take a cut like that, but is he even going to play this week? So do you drop Stidham? Do you pick up Allen? Do you play Allen? Do you play Stidham? Or do you play Fitzpatrick? Or do you go with Ryan Tannehill, who last
And as Tip's internet guy starts to meditate to
Am I
struggle
back?
here a little bit, Tip, I'm going to answer the question for you. First of all, Kyle Allen is not going to lose his starting job for the rest of the season. Once you bench a player like Dwayne Haskins, he is out. He is mentally checked out for the rest of the season. He probably won't even be on the Washington football team next season.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah.
Stidham is not the answer at all, because Cam Newton will be back this week, if not next week, and even then he's on a short leash. Even if he starts, if he throws one interception, I think, or two interceptions versus the Denver Broncos, you're going to see Hoyer in there, 100%. So if it's between Stidham and Kyle Allen, you have to do the process of elimination. The answer is Kyle Allen. 100%.
And that's what I was thinking. Perfect. Yeah, exactly.
Now you brought up Ryan Tannehill a little bit. The Tennessee Titans do play the Buffalo Bills this week, arguably one of the best defenses in all of football.
And that's what I was ending my take on.
Yeah. However, the Tennessee Titans have had a week off. The Buffalo Bills were in a shootout with the Rams last week. Are they overlooking the Titans a little bit? Are they, maybe underestimating them like a little bit? Ryan Tannehill was in Tennessee Titans facilities yesterday practicing, even though the facilities were closed down. Ryan Tannehill is eager to play, and I would be a safe bet to probably not start him either, because the Tennessee Titans' offense is horrible, and they just run the ball 85% of the time. So the answer to your question is Kyle Allen. Pick Kyle Allen up 100%. Stidham's not going to start after this week, or even if he starts this week. And Ryan Tannehill, he's kind of a toss-up. I would put my money on Kyle Allen moving forward.
Now, do you start Kyle Allen? Do you start Allen over Fitzpatrick? Because the word is out that Fitz is going to start one more week, and then Tua could come on. So do you? Or do you,
look.
See.
So you have to step outside of fantasy here a little bit and actually look at the real life games here. Miami travels to San Francisco to play one of the best defenses that we've seen in modern time, but also they're injury prone now. And Kyle Allen.
They play the Rams.
Football team plays the Rams. With that being said,
they're at Washington.
You have to go with the veteran. I think you have to go with the veteran in this one. Kyle Allen might be. He is either going to have a really, really good game or a really, really bad game. I don't think there's no 20
in between
for him.
Yeah,
it's going to be 30 or it's going to be 10. So, as a safe bet, I'm going to go with Fitzpatrick, just because no moment is too big for him at the current time. Because
you broke it down, and that's who I've already got in place, brother. Yeah.
So
now I'll see what my mentor in fantasy football says after the show is over. Well, he'll probably text me meanwhile, and
if you want the correct answer, you got to come to me, because I am excellent with this stuff. You should know.
You hear that, Kev? Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I am undefeated in my league, and I did beat my wife last week, and I'm still not hearing the end of that.
Oh, you should let that one go, brother. Yeah, you should let that one go.
Listen.
You should let that one go, man.
Player that scored 0 points. She had 5 players that scored in the first quarter.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So,
oh man, so she just got tore up from the get-go.
Actually, the final score to our game last week, she had 45 points. I had 55 points. It was the lowest scoring output of all time.
45 to you beat her by 10 points, 55 to 45.
Yeah, my kicker scored 10
gosh. Hey, your kicker beat your wife. Ooh, not good, buddy. Not good. You're lucky you even still have a to go to.
That's all right. She's still in first place. We are both 3-1 moving forward here. But speaking of 3-1 teams, we do have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the Chicago Bears tonight at Soldier Field. So, Tip, I'm going to give you the Buccaneers, and you are going to tell me how they can win the game tonight versus the Chicago Bears. How can the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Chicago Bears tonight?
Well, first of all, they're going to beat them on talent alone. That alone, talent, talent, experience. They're going to beat them on that alone. But coaching, just everywhere across the board, Tampa Bay is better. There's not even Chicago has no ups on Tampa Bay. Win this game pretty handily, I'm thinking. I do want to touch on the Gronk thing. That was it Steve that just spoke about that. I'm not sure I trust Gronk still, even though Gronk is the only tight end in there. You don't have Godwin. You still have Scotty Miller. You still got Mike Evans, and you've still got the backfield. I know Fournette's out, but you've still got Ronald Jones the third. The Vaughn is going to possibly be used some. So, and Brady likes his tight end. I mean his slot receivers and his running backs, as you know. He likes his tight ends, but somehow, for some reason this year, he hasn't used his tight ends much. And then when he did start using them, Howard tears his Achilles. So sorry for that guy. I hope he heals well. But I'm looking for, Brady has made a living off of his slot receivers. You think back in the days of you've got Welker and you've got right now Edelman and now you got Scotty Miller at Tampa Bay, and there's been a couple others. I can't think their names right off the top of my head, but Amendola, there's one. Danny Amendola. So I look for Scotty Miller to kind of break up the monotony in between, in midfield, and probably have a big game. And I look for Mike Evans just to completely drum the secondary of Chicago, because Fuller is not playing like he has in the past couple of years. Their secondary is kind of suspect. They have good linebackers. They've got a good defensive line. I'm not sure that the running game is going to be huge tonight with Tampa. I think if they can get 60 to 80 yards on the ground and keep Chicago honest at the line, I think they'll just throw it over the top, and Miller and Evans are going to have big games. That's just my take. Ronald Jones could have a decent game. I did like the take on Ronald Jones, and I actually subbed him out for Marquise Brown. So Marquise Brown in place of Marquise Brown is my receiver. And then I took Jones and put him in my spot and replaced Marquise Brown, because even though they're playing Cincinnati, he's injured, he's questionable, and you never know what's going to happen with. I don't look for him to have a big game, so I think Ronald Jones is the take there. So I switched that out, and I just think Tampa Bay. I think they win this game running away. I don't even know that Chicago scores 17 points. I wouldn't put Chicago over 10 or 13 points. I just don't think they will. I think the Bucs defense is too good, and I think when their offense gets on the field, they've just got too much firepower, and Chicago can't hold them. I'm going to say 31-30 or 28 to 13, 38, 31 to 13, somewhere in that range. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, I'm going to take every point that you said, and I'm going to prove to you why the Chicago Bears are going to win.
All right.
To win.
Do it. Do it.
4-1. All of their offensive backfield is out. Yes, Ronald Jones is in there. Vaughn is in there. Whatever. But when you take out a talent like Leonard Fournette, yes, they were not using him, but the threat was there. That is just going to make the secondary for the Bears that much better, because they don't have to worry about the run. The Bears arguably have one of the best front sevens in all of football.
They do.
They are going to expose Tom Brady, because Leonard Fournette is not in there. They don't have to respect the running game as much. They just have to worry about pinning their ears back, getting Tom Brady. And with that being said, Tom Brady doesn't like to get hit. and you put Mac in his face 1, 2, 3, 4,
Mm.
4 times. Tom is going to be looking for that dump off. Yes, you mentioned the name Scotty Miller. He might have a great game if he plays. He is listed as doubtful for tonight now. So you have Godwin out, you have Scotty Miller out, you have Mike Evans still nursing that. I believe it was a hamstring or a quad. I can't remember for sure what it was, but he's still nursing that. Then you have LaShawn McCoy out, Leonard Fournette out. I mean, the list is piling up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They worked out 7 offensive players yesterday, so you can see players off of the street playing in the Tampa Bay uniform tonight in Chicago with the very very healthy Chicago Bears offense. Yes, so it is not going to be it is not going to be a game between the Bucs offense versus the Bears defense. It is going to be the Bears offense versus the Bucs defense.
Mm.
That is going to determine the winning tonight. And yes, the Buccaneers have the best run defense in all of football. However, this is a passing league. This is Nick Foles' second start of the season now. Last week versus the Colts, he knocked off the rust, he knocked off the jitters, whatever. Now they're at home in Soldier Field. They're going to have about 8,000 fans in there. They're going to be loud. They're going to be rowdy, and it's going to be a little chilly. That wind off of that north coming from the lake is going to be cold. Yes, Tom Brady is from New England,
He's
right?
from New England, so
But he has been playing in Florida the last few months, and he is no longer equipped with that cold weather, right? Tom Brady is used to that heat and the humidity and whatever. The Bears win tonight, and I'll give you your 17 points to the Bears. It is going to be a 17-14
I don't know.
win for the Chicago
Oh,
Bears.
wow. Wow.
Chicago
Okay.
Bears win 17-14.
And see, that's why I think that you take a guy like Tom Brady, and he can use that process against him. Tom Brady's pretty crafty, and he's a veteran. See, there you go. See where I learned my stuff from, man. See where I learned from, and I just think Tampa Bay has too much for Chicago. I think Chicago's way overrated. I think way overrated. I don't even know that there's a playoff team, and I don't really think that they can. I don't think they can do anything with Tampa Bay. I don't see it. Actually, Chicago is the third, and it's arguably the fourth best team in the NFC North. I mean, they're not even better than Detroit. So, and they may rival
that division.
And I wouldn't go that far now. Obviously, the Pack is the best team in that division, but
for now,
you might even say the Vikings are a little better than the Bears. I just think the Bears got off to a start, and it kind of just worked out. I wouldn't even take a trade with Foles because the guy never stays upright. He's fragile, and if he just exactly, and I don't know that the Bucs are going to be after him. They're going to be going after him too, and they got that great front line. They got, I actually have Whitehead, who is one of their safeties on my 2 keeper league teams, and I don't. Okay, if you're saying that Chicago's defense can slow down the Bucs offense, I could say okay, but if you're saying that the offense of Chicago can score against the defense of the Bucs, I don't see that too well. I see it the other way around for both, and I just don't see them giving Tampa Bay much of a game at all.
The reason why
I think Chicago's on a downslide.
The reason why I say that is because I think Chicago is a more balanced attack than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They can run and they can pass the ball. Yes, they only have one receiver that they throw the ball to 12 times.
Like one receiver.
Like every game. But still, you still have Montgomery in the backfield, and Montgomery is not.
He could have a great game.
Yeah. He is a back that I trust in a situation like this to give me 5-6 yards every carry when I give it to him, and to catch the ball out of the backfield when Robertson is covered down the field.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't think he averages 5 or 6 yards against the Bucs D though. Not their line.
I'm not saying he's on average, But when it's 3rd and 5 and under, I'm giving him the ball, and I think I have faith
Okay.
in him to give me that 75% of the time.
I think Montgomery's a decent back. I just don't think he's the type of back that can win the game for you and change the game plan.
But he
I
won't
don't-
lose you the game either, much like Zeke's been doing for the Dallas Cowboys, fumbling the ball away the last few weeks.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic there. I mean, why they're not using him. I'm just going to say this. I don't want to get off topic here. I was thinking about this earlier. Mike McCarthy, think about when he was at Green Bay, okay?
Okay.
2 things. One, he didn't have a great defense at Green Bay. It was pretty much Aaron Rodgers. Well, that's what I'm saying. It was pretty much Aaron Rodgers carrying him. He didn't have a great running game at Green Bay. It was pretty much back committee. I think a couple years they had a 1,000-yard back, but it was still Aaron Rodgers' show, right? Now he goes to Dallas. Dallas's defense, for lack of a better term, stinks.
Right.
They're not using their running back, who is possibly, he could be argued to be the top back in the NFL. I mean, he's within the top 3 easily, no argument there. And it's just, I guess, a preference of whether you want to take him or you want to take Barkley when he's healthy, or you want to take McCaffrey, or maybe 1 or 2 others. But I don't think you could get much of an argument if you said, hey, Zeke is top back in the NFL, because in all reality, the dude is a beast. And when he's doing this, you got to keep giving it to him, because that's when he's feeling it. And lately, just kind of taking him out of the sequence, man. He's just, they're not in Zeke. Even in fantasy, even the little bit he's being used. So I look at that and I say, okay, this is a pattern. If this same thing was happening at Green Bay, and now McCarthy has come here and he's not using the back that he has, who is what we just said, the defense stinks. This is almost like Green Bay reincarnated. It's like, here, Dak, I'll get you a bunch of weapons on the outside. You throw to whoever you want to, and we'll just move it up and down the field like the West Coast offense. And it's not happening like that because defenses are keying in on them. Their receivers and their quarterbacks are still producing, but they're just not winning games. And the formula they have is not a winning formula. They have got to get the ball to Ezekiel Elliott, and they've got to keep on feeding that guy, because if you don't, you're going to lose him, and then you've got nothing. So Ezekiel Elliott can win a game for you. Ezekiel Elliott can keep a game plan and keep the other team off the field. Ezekiel Elliott is a game plan. Montgomery is not a game plan. He's a weapon that can be used from time to time, but he's not a game plan, and he can't win a game for you like Ezekiel Elliott. That was my point.
You are correct on that aspect by the fact that the Cowboys' offensive formula is working just fine. It's the fact that their defense has given up 45-plus points in the last 3 games. That's what's not working. And then you cut 2 safeties from that team as well. So you're looking to bring in 2 new.
Well, one of them was old.
But true. But still, you still cut 2 starting safeties for your defense off after following a loss to the Browns.
Right.
And so now you have second string players in there, because I haven't read that they picked anybody up yet, or not.
I haven't either.
But
one of those guys could become a star.
You are very well.
I mean, they're young. They're young. They're eager. They've got energy. Excuse me. They're ready to get out there on the field and do some hitting, and so I think that was a good move. You get rid of a couple of old guys, that have been in the league 10 years or more. You're paying a lot of money to. You get rid of them. You bring some young talent in. You may suffer a couple of games with it, but you also may find a diamond in the rough. And because Xavier Woods is not playing swell right now. He was supposed to be a top-notch safety in the last couple of years, and he hasn't really shown. He's shown flashes
in Minnesota, but there's a reason why the Vikings let him go.
Right.
Usually, when a player like that has been with the team for eight years plus, and they just magically let him go, there's a reason why. Normally,
there's something.
AKA my man Eric Berry from the Kansas City Chiefs. After he fought cancer, he came back. He never played again because he lost a step, and that's just the way it is. And we felt bad I felt bad for him for cutting him or releasing him or whatever they did, or like whatever they did. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it is a business, and the
It is.
business of picking games is what I do. And I am picking the Chicago Bears tonight to
Okay.
upset the
Okay.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm not even going to take the points. I mean, they are giving me 3 points right now. Actually, I just
I take
reconfirmed
Tampa
it.
Bay all day with 3 points.
I mean, it's back up to 3.555 points now. So the money, so the spread is fluctuating quite a
Hmm.
bit here over the last
I'll take
few
Tampa
hours.
Bay with 3.5. I'll take Tampa Bay with 4 or 5 points. I don't think it's even gonna. I would take Tampa Bay up to a touchdown because I just think they're that much better.
Yeah, anything over a touchdown, I almost always take the underdog, like at that
Right.
point with the
Yeah. And
with
I'm
the
not
points.
saying that Dallas isn't a good offense. I like their passing attack. Heck, let's be honest with you. Dak is on one of my fantasy teams, and the guy is great for fantasy football. He's gold,
And I
platinum.
believe Dak is on pace for 6,700 yards this
Yeah,
season or something crazy like
right, exactly.
that.
But you can't take Ezekiel Elliott out of. You can take David Montgomery out of the mix a little bit. You can't take Zeke out, man. You got to give him the ball. You
Well,
got to.
I mean,
He's your
Zeke
best
is getting
player
the
on
ball.
offense.
Well, I mean, let's stay with the Cowboys here. I mean, Zeke is getting the ball. It's just the fact that he keeps fumbling it away. I think he has 3 or 4 fumbles this season, and 3 of them that he has lost. I
Hmm.
mean, it is just absolutely crazy. I mean, he has 70 attempts in four games. So I mean, he is getting the ball. He's just not he's just not producing
Sometimes
it.
reps hurt. Me playing football in the past and a running back. Yeah, I know it's a rhythm thing with running backs.
You know,
Receivers are different. They get out there, they run around, they do their thing, they try to get open. But with running backs, the line is relied so much upon the secondary, even your receivers. When you're a running back, you have to rely on everyone else, and if you can't get into a rhythm, that hurts you. And I think Mike McCarthy has taken Ezekiel Elliott out of his rhythm, and I think he
how
needs to
many
get it
touches in
back
a
for him.
game do you want Zeke to have?
He should have at least 30 touches. That includes runs and catches. Yeah, I think he should run the
Okay.
ball 20 to 25 times, and I think he should have probably 5 to 8 passes per game. I think he's
Okay,
that
so
big of a talent to do that
okay,
with.
okay, so right now he is averaging 18 yards or 18 carries per game, and then on the season so far he has 24 receptions. So you divide that by 4,
Six,
what is it? So
six.
so that's exactly what you said. I mean, yes, he needs maybe 2 3 more carries in a game, but he is
He needs
getting
more than that.
touches.
I wouldn't let him have. I wouldn't do anything less than 25 carries a game with him. I just think
So
he's
then
worth
you are
that
going to
and
run
more.
your $90 million tailback into the ground in the second
I'm
game.
paying him $90 million. He's going to run the ball. He's going to run.
Right.
He's going to run, man. $90 million, and he wants to. He wants to. But then what that does is that just opens the offense up so much more for
Does it
Dak
though?
and the rest of the wide receivers. Oh yeah. If you
Because
got to focus on Zeke,
you are talking about a rhythm and and a flow. I mean, the quarterback's got to get a rhythm and a flow too. I mean, if you're only throwing the ball 10 times a game, I mean, it's hard to get in a rhythm and a flow when you're throwing the ball too.
well, I mean, if Zeke can run the ball 25 times a game, the quarterback's going to throw the ball 30 times, 25 to 30 times a game. What do you get in a game? 60 plays, 70 plays, somewhere in that range on an average, 80 plays.
Usually under 60 in a
Okay, so there,
competitive game.
so you're splitting it up, but you're not splitting it up, and you don't have. Let's just use Vaughn for lack of a better player to use. It's not like you're using a guy like Vaughn who you're going to run him 25 times and he's going to get you 40 yards. You're using a guy like Zeke who's going to run 25 times and he's going to get you 100 yards. There's a big difference in time of possession. There's a huge difference in the way you play defense. The whole game plan changes. And so now you're talking about, okay, if you're Dak, do I want to throw the ball 25 times a game, give it to my number one offensive player 25 times a game, and possibly win a Super Bowl, throw 50 times a game? And do I want to just cut my number one offensive player who's worth $100 million out and probably the top back and arguably the top back in the NFL, but I want to throw the ball 50 plus times a game, and because I want my 40 million next year. You have to make a decision on, do you want to win? Is it about you or is it about the team? And I just think Mike McCarthy
money at the
coming there, and
it is about money at the,
yeah, probably
at
is
the end of the
probably.
day. And
Probably.
I am glad you brought up $100 million. They are paying Amari Cooper $100 million to catch the football. If you're only throwing it to him 5 times a game, but you're giving it to Zeke 30 times a game, who are you really paying more at the?
But that's your workhorse. But he shouldn't have paid Cooper that,
Amari
first
Cooper
of all.
is my
but
$100 million receiver.
Well, that's Jerry Jones'
catch
fault.
The ball and score 2 touchdowns.
But that's JJ's fault.
It is.
Your workhorse is Ezekiel Elliott. That's your money man.
But do you, Jerry?
If you want to win and if you want to keep teams off balance, give the ball to Zeke.
You are right on that aspect. But do you want to sell tickets? Do you want to see high scorings?
Will Super Bowls and NFC championship games and playoffs not bring in fans and tickets? Will it not bring in the money? Would that not bring in more money than you just getting out there and going up and down the field and, scoring 40 points, letting the defense giving up 40 points and you losing? Because that's
the answer to that question
not going to make fans either.
The answer to that question is no. We talk more about the Dallas Cowboys when they lose and they score 40+ points and that they win if it's a 12-6 score. Think about this. Monday morning, if the Cowboys win 12-6, who is the headline of the Sports Center going into Monday? It is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs because they're going to score 50+ points, right? Now, if the Dallas Cowboys score 45 points and lose, they will be the headliner. Oh, the Cowboys score and another 40-point score, and they lose.
You know who's a great example of that?
At the end of that. Good.
No, that's true. You're right. He does. He sees dollar signs. But you know who? The Patriots over the years. They're a great example of that. They've never been a high-scoring team. They've been kind of just wear you down, smart play. It's almost like small ball in baseball. It's not the home run is glamorous, but bunt and the steal are no longer, the fun to watch. So
it was for the Kansas City Royals.
Well, see, and they won. Do you see what I'm saying? But every game, you're all stadiums. They were filled. They were packed. It didn't matter about the small ball. What mattered was, or the big ball or the home run or whatever it was. What mattered was you were winning. That's what matters. So at the end of the day, it's all about wins at the end of the day. And that's what people want to see, because when you win, well, obviously, you're right. That's not even close. But at the end of the day, winning means a whole lot. And
you are right. But at the end of the day, Dak Prescott is playing for a $40 million contract. And if he throws for 6,000 yards this season, the most yards ever in an NFL season, touchdowns, etc., I can guarantee you he is going to get the $40 million somehow, somewhere.
He probably will. He probably will. He's a great talent. He just doesn't know how to win, it seems like.
He's a great
at the end of the game
talent, much like Lamar Jackson is.
Agreed. I think you're right.
So,
but he scores better in fantasy.
And I believe that your man Kevin says that Dallas is a great offensive team for fantasy football, but the defense is horrible.
Horrible.
So let's go ahead and make this full circle.
So anytime,
and as Tip gets,
you can even stream the Giants defense.
Are you back? There you go.
Am I there? All right.
You're there.
All right.
We didn't hear.
I may not be there, but I'm here. I said I may not be there, but I'm here.
Before that, you said something about the Giants defense or something like that.
Oh, I'm saying if you stream whatever defense is against Dallas, you may have good defense points. So because they're just
so let's go ahead and make this full circle. We are talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the Chicago Bears tonight. We have kind of hinted out who we are going to pick, but Tip, let's make it official. Who are you picking in tonight's game?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
I got the Bucs. I got the Bucs big time.
You got the Bucs by big. I believe, what, 31-17 you said?
28-13, 31-13, 28-10, 31, somewhere in that range. Yeah.
Okay.
I believe
so
it's going to be a
as you guys
blowout.
know, I am a percentage guy. And Thursday night football, the road dog, the road team, when they switch time zones, they lose 85% of the time on Thursday night football when they are the guest team. The Bears are at home. The Bears are
It's only an
traveling.
hour.
It's still different time zone. It's still traveling
Fair
from
enough.
South Miami to the Chicago.
You're
You're still looking at a 6-7 hour flight, right?
You're right.
With that being said, it's still a short week. They had a day less of practice. Chicago Bears are at home cooking. I'm taking Brandon Coombs, Chicago Bears, and I'm picking it 17-13 as the final, or I'm going to say 17-14 as the final score, and the Bears win outright. But just in case, I'm taking the points too. So if
There
it's a
you go.
tie, I'm going to win either way.
Yep.
So the Chicago
That's it.
Bears, and I'm going to start week 5 off 1-0. So Tips, any closing thoughts before we head out?
1-0.
Any closing thoughts, Tips, before we head out?
I'm just curious as to what's going to happen. I still think this COVID thing is going to play a big part in the rest of the season. And if the season doesn't shut down, I think not just the NFL, but us as fantasy players, I think we're going to be dealing with this all year long. So if I gave any advice to fantasy football players out there, the surprise is over, the shock or whatever, the disappointment for, having to do whatever you have to do with players, but just be prepared for the upcoming weeks. I don't think that they will shut at first I thought they were going to shut the season down completely, and that was my prediction. But somebody opened my eyes to something yesterday, and that might have been you. I don't remember. They're going to play. No, it was Kevin actually. They're going to play whatever they play because of that money. They lose a lot of money when they miss a game, and so I think they're going to try to make as much as they can and do it as much any way possible to get the season in. And it's going to be one of those weird seasons where there's going to be players that's going to be picked up and used that we've never even heard of. And so that's just what kind of year this is.
All righty, guys. That is going to be it for the Mike and Mike Man Hour, guys, here on Thursday. Just join us tomorrow, same time, same place, youtube.com/Mike and Mike Man Hour. Or if you miss any part of the show whatsoever, you can check us out on iTunes or Spotify as well. Mike and Mike Man Hour.com, live, raw, uncut sports talk. See you tomorrow.